So today I am going to add more darker tones to the wood in the door, and I'm going to start with the darkest color in my polychromal set, dark sepia. I already did a little bit of work here and there, and now I'm just going to continue. I made a sharp point to my pencil because I feel that the paper is having trouble picking up more and more color. And this book that I have, Enchanted Forest, this Dutch version, the paper is not my taste. I know that later versions, later prints of the Dutch version has the same paper quality as Magical Jungle has, and that is gorgeous paper. So actually I am thinking about buying another copy, just because this slick paper is it is just giving trouble. There is a beautiful page, a double page in this book, with a deer and honestly I haven't started coloring it yet because of the paper. So maybe it is a good idea to buy another one. I am now going to use this one, Red Violet. I'm not using this one very often, but it is a very dark red, and it can help to give this wood a little bit more life. In order to make a little bit more contrast between this ornament and the wood, I am now going to use a dark blue, Prussian blue, by Carandash Luminance. And just adding a slight touch of blue here and there will help the ornament to come forward, to look closer to you. It's just a slight touch because I don't want my door to look blue. By the way, there is on the internet a picture of this door, and it is, I don't know who painted it, but it is done with watercolor paint or watercolor pencils, I'm not sure. And it is a blue door and it is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. I don't remember where I saw it, but maybe if you Google for Enchanted Forest, you will find that picture. It is really a beautiful blue door. It doesn't look like a coloring page anymore. It looks like a painting. Gorgeously done. It's so beautiful what so many people are making. And I've also heard or read that some people say, well, these beautiful drawings on the internet prevent me from starting coloring because I cannot do that. I cannot color that good. I'm now going to use this one, dark brown, from the Bruinzeel series. I need a sharper point. This is a sharp point. If you want to know what kind of it is too sharp. If you want to know what kind of sharpener I use, I made a little video about the two sharpeners that I use. I have two very cheap ones, but they do a great job. Now, as you can see, I think this is a Bruinzeel pencil, and this Bruinzeel pencil really is having trouble with this smooth paper. So here I change Bruinzeel to burnt sienna from Polychromos, again with a sharp point. Now let's see if there is any difference. Oh yes, there is. This pencil is working much better. So, although I hate to say it, my beloved Bruinzeel pencils are no match for this difficult paper. Now you may not have this problem, because I don't think the Enchanted Forest books published in other countries than the Netherlands have this same extremely slick paper. So I'm going to add more of this one, red violet. And I'm not going to cover everything with it. It's just here and there. And then I'm going to cover this burnt sienna just here and there also. So if you are one of these people who are having trouble starting coloring because of other people's glorious work, then the only advice that I can give you is do not listen to that voice in your mind. It is not telling the truth at all. Just start coloring and enjoy every stroke you put on paper. You know, and failure means, I think, that you are learning something. And if you want to witness my failure, then I invite you to watch the videos about Magical Jungle, in which I attempt to color a tiger. And the last video that I put online, that tiger doesn't look so good. You know, maybe it is just a face, I hope, but it could also be that this tiger is beyond rescue. And well, you know, at least if that is the case, at least we have had a lot of fun. And I learned something. I also learned something. So, failure is good. Failure is good. As long as it is not dangerous. Now that is interesting. You know, it is that voice in our minds. This is the Prussian blue again from the luminance here. I am not a psychologist, so if you want to know what it is about us people that, you know, I'm not sure, but to me it feels like we are born with this great gift, our mind, like a very good computer. But there is a little bug in the computer. There is this little program lurking in the background that wants to take over. And it will try to sound like you, so that you will believe once it is talking that it is you. At least that is how I experience it. And then it is trying to convince me of whatever drama. And most of the time there is really no drama at all. And then nobody teaches us how to deal with this voice in the mind, how to switch it off. So it keeps talking, blah, 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 blah. You know, I didn't come up with that myself. There was a psychologist about 12 years ago, a psychologist who explained to me how the mind works, and she told me that not every thought that you think is the truth. And I was stunned. I was completely stunned. Until then, I really thought that every thought that I had was important and needed attention. I had no idea that a lot of the thought processes were completely unnecessary lies. They were just not true. Isn't that interesting? That our mind produces so much just noise. And when this psychologist told me that, I really got interested in this phenomenon. I am not telling you what colors I'm using, but they're still the same. Burnt sienna, walnut brown, dark sepia, red violet, and this one, the luminance Prussian blue. I'll try to tell you what I'm doing. I'm now going for this one, burnt sienna. So I really got interested in this mind game. And for me it means that I need to practice quieting the mind. There's a really nice video online at this moment. The Huffington Post posted it on Facebook. It is a short video about a Buddhist monk who explains what they call the monkey mind, and that is a term that is being used in psychology and psychiatry as well, I believe. The monkey mind, that part of us that keeps rattling along, producing nonsense. Let's go for the dark sepia. He has a really good explanation. So maybe that resonates with you too. I've also found the last 10 years that I've been interested in this phenomenon, the monkey mind, that not all theories or ways to practice taking control over this mental flaw works for everybody. So For example, mindfulness can really work well, but it may not work for everybody. Let's add a little bit more Prussian blue. Now it is said that coloring has the same effect on the mind as mindfulness. It quiets the mind. But I think that only works if you like coloring. If you hate coloring, I think that then it won't work. We go for walnut brown. In some traditions, they call this monkey mind the ego. And that really resonates with me. But you know, it can take years to find your way with this crazy talk in your head. As Oprah Winfrey calls it, crazy talk. This is red violet. A little bit of that. I think it must be more than 20 years ago that my husband said to me, "You think too much." And I knew he was right, but I didn't know how to fix it. So I went to the library and I searched for a book about Zen Buddhism, because I knew that the Zen Buddhists were, well, they did something that could quiet the mind, but I hated reading. So when I went for the smallest book with the least pages, and it was a tiny book, and I read it and I knew that everything that was in there was true, but I didn't get it at all. So I left it. And then about 10 years later, sometimes when life happens, you suddenly have an epiphany, and that happens. I had an epiphany, and then I went back searching for answers. And then the books that I read suddenly made sense, and I found a way to practice this quieting the mind. And it is so easy that you may think that it can never work, but it does. It is so easy, and that is what became mindfulness, I think. Just feel the breath and feel your body, and then you may think, that cannot be true. This cannot be it, but this is it. Feel the body, feel your breath. Do it 3 times. And another thing that helps me a lot is to, if I don't have to think, then I try to switch off language in my head. That is what I do. No words in the mind. Only feeling. When I'm coloring or painting and I'm not recording, I'm not making videos, there is no, why should I have language in my mind? Doesn't need to. And for me that is the key. I was just using burnt sienna, by the way. So maybe this whole story sounds like complete nonsense to you. But for me it helps me a lot. Dark sepia. So let's take a step back and see what we are doing. This is really going very well. So I'm now going to refresh the shadows, and I'm starting with dark indigo. I could also use black, but I think that will be too harsh. So let's first do this blue, and then I can always come back and add black. Ah, finally sunshine. That is so welcome. Yesterday it was 14 degrees outside. It is extremely cold for a summer's day. And this morning it was cold also, but it's getting better. This takes a lot of concentration. But I think we are getting somewhere. These shadows really help the drawing to come alive. Oh, I pushed too hard. Well, there is still a sharp edge to the point. I normally don't have to push that hard, but this paper is a challenge. I have to sharpen it because I cannot be precise anymore. So here's a new fresh point. Now maybe you can see that I spoiled a little bit. There are some dark spots on the ornament. So I'm using this Perfection Faber-Castell. It is a eraser pencil. You can sharpen it, but you know the inside is a bit hard to sharpen, but it works. So it is still Olympic Games time, and when it comes to psychology and controlling the mind, then the competitors in the Olympic Games are really interesting to see how some of them have such a good control over their minds. I am now going to add the black to the shadow. A slight touch, not too much, just a slight touch. Oh, this point broke too. So this takes a lot of concentration, but I love seeing how this drawing increases in, how do you say that? It comes alive, it comes to life. How do you say it? Does a drawing come to life, or does it come alive? I don't know. So if you know, post it please. That will be my English lesson for today. Okay, now I have another idea. What if we gave this ornament a little bit of shading too? And I'm using Erogeton Cinnamon, and I can use this pencil because there is not much color on the paper where the ornament is. Otherwise, this pencil would, I don't think it would be visible. Oh. The same happens to this pencil. The point snaps off. This hasn't happened to me before. Oh, this is... I almost need sunglasses. So much sunshine. So I am putting this cinnamon on the shaded areas of the ornament. So the light comes from the right, so the right side and the top is light and the bottom and the left is darker. So here the left side is darker, the bottom is darker. This is what I love most, I have to say. These tiny details that make the drawing, that makes the drawing look special. And it's not that difficult. Just choose where your light source is. And then be consequent. what do you think? I think we are getting somewhere. Now let's add a little bit of yellow, light chrome yellow, just to see what happens if we add it in the lighter areas. I'm not sure if this is the right color. Look, it is very bright. I'm going for this one, light yellow glaze. I think this is a little bit better. Very light touch. Let's get rid of the other yellow. That is not so good. So. I'm not covering everything with this light yellow, just a couple of areas that if you want to make stronger reflections of the sun, then you will have to leave some areas completely white, or you can add a dot of white with let's say a gel pen or a little bit of paint. Well, I think this is it for today. This ornament needs a little bit of more darker tones here and there, just a light touch here and there, but that is nice for the next time, for the next episode. So I wish you happy coloring, and until next time, bye bye.